Do you want to help with your breakfast, Fiona? Are you awake enough for breakfast? You're gonna go to Homer today. The thing I love about our day seaweeding, which I've done since I was a small child, which is that the whole community comes together.
What's the goal here? How many are we making?
We were aiming for 3 for everybody.
What else?
45. We got our rice balls made. We got some walnuts with some homemade miso on them. And now we have some wild fiddleheads going. And we're gonna saute some kale with some homemade tofu. That'll be lunch at the beach.
We gotta feed 15 hungry mouses that's gonna harvest beautiful seaweed. And this is a great source of energy. Plant-based energy.
We're gonna go down to Homer and catch a boat across the bay and pick seaweed for our seaweed for the year.
You ready for my perfect rice bowl?
There you go. Perfect.
A B. I give it a B.
It's supposed to be sunny, so it's going to be a warm, wonderful experience. There have been years where it's been snowing and freezing cold, and we do it anyways, so.
Ionia is like a safe haven that we created 30 years ago. A group of us found each other in the movement called Macrobatics in Boston. And we had in common trouble thriving and surviving in the modern world as it is. So we created this little village where we could eat simple foods and be involved with nature and learn how to relate more kindly with each other so that we could really find that support that we needed and create a world that made more sense to us that we wanted to bring our kids up into and ourselves up into.
Go!
Come on, Alex, let's do this!
Let's get out of here! 8 to a 5.
Make sure you have 8. Whoever's going in there.
Get in the car now!
When the tide is low, it is time to go harvest our seaweed together. Even though it's a really hard, long day, it brings us together.
It just feels every time like kind of unique or special every time I leave the community because it just doesn't happen very often. I have all my life there, you know, I raise my kids there, homeschooling, and I never get to get outside so much. And when I do, it just feels, oh wow, there's a whole world out there.
You guys ready? We're almost there. Water doesn't look too bad, actually.
We had a dream of a rurally based village, but we were all city folk. We had no idea how to do that. We had no money and nothing going for us. And we heard that there was free land in Alaska. And we heard that there was this thing called the Alaska Permanent Fund, which was a little payment for every man, woman, and child that happens every year. Not me, but some of us got the idea, the crazy idea, to go to Alaska and try to homestead. So I was dragged up here pretty much kicking and screaming, but I came, and after a few years, I just fell in love with the place. We found this land. It wasn't free, but it was $300 down and $300 a month, and we could do that. And we took our first year of permanent funds, which was a whole lot, you know, because it was a bunch of us, and we just pooled them all together, and we're like, wow, that's more money than we've ever seen anywhere. And we took it and we put in a road and we put in the well, and we actually bought teepees that first year and put them up and lived in them for the first winter and with our families, and then we started building in the spring.
It's a nice handful. I grew up here. My parents are one of the founding families. I remember being outside a lot, especially when we didn't even have a house to be in. We still felt very warm and cozy, kind of tribal to be out in teepees together. But it wasn't too long before we definitely got on building our log cabins.
Whoever fills up their bag first gets an order of French fries that we're all gonna share, but they don't have to pay for it.
You cut it so that it regrows, so you leave the stem that's anchored to the rock. And that's what it looks like. It's got one spine, and it's got a lot of really nice leaves on it. And after you dry it properly and store it for a while, that spine stops being tough. It's best fresh before you dry it, but it only lasts 2 or 3 days.
Because I read about that one in my book.
Been every year since I was 5. My favorite day of the year. Yeah, it's very, very small, but it's been that way for the last few years. Nothing like when we were kids. They used to be like twice as long as I was.
The amount that we eat is just like to buy it. It's just too much. It's ridiculous. So hopefully get enough this year that we don't run out.
We don't have any religion in common, but we did have this way of eating with grains and vegetables and beans and using principles of balance that really nourished us and helped us to find our health and our centers and take care of our kids.
We're working nicely. Everybody are collecting. I think we're gonna probably have enough for the year. Hopefully.
Emma, now you look like you're doing something. No, I'm not.
It feels so good right now to collect something local. It always feels weird to buy something that you have right next to you, that you can collect or harvest or gather or grow.
I think we have plenty of time to pick the rest before the tide comes back up.
Are the fiddleheads big?
Vegan in Alaska? How is that using what's on the land? I grew up vegan, and I've always felt like I got everything I needed from the plants, especially if you look closely to the abundance of food that's around. You just have to look a little closer. Open your scope to all the vegetation and all the mushrooms and all the sea life. And it feels like a sustainable choice, even in Alaska. Get all the seaweed to the dock. Got 40 minutes. Great day of seaweeding. Beautiful day. Good harvest.
We had a good day, but we're only halfway there.
Getting too old for this stuff.
Our community, with the intention that it has to learn how to live with difference, there's a few points where we come together. And those are usually around local foods, to eat what's around us in our environment, and that we can do it ourselves. And so Seaweed is an amazing opportunity for that.
Hard to lift in there.
Some of Ionia's uniqueness comes from the fact that it's an intentional community. Intention of really learning how to live together and to live in harmony with the world around us.
There's always someone else you can pass your baby to. There's always someone else you can go and talk to. And, there's no privacy. And there's no such thing as doing something that doesn't affect, 50 other people. However, that trade-off is worth it for a lot of us, because doing it all by yourself can become very lonely. And it can become very unsustainable for some of us.
Yeah, Mama.
It's going slow. In years past, before global warming probably, we had 2 meter long and a 1/2 meter wide pieces of seaweed, and you would hang everything in 2 hours. It was really much nicer. Really nice.
This is gonna make it taste better though. In the winter, when we're eating it, we'll
we'll know how much energy we put into hanging it and drying it.
Really cold.
I'm kind of sorry I didn't go on the boat this year, but it's a very highly prized position to get on that boat. Everybody wants to be on. It's so fun out on the water.
Gotta use it as a moisturizer.
I should be cooking dinner. I wanted to be here for the conversation and the cold hands.
Hands are cold, hot, fresh cooked.
Yummy.
Fresh seaweed.
I want some. Yummy.
Logic.
Once or twice. Mmm. Yummy. Oh.
Gimme.
Mama's got a bite for you. Okay.
Still not tall enough.
Little stuff, a lot of it fits in one bag, so it goes on and on and on and on and on.
14 hours. Getting a little tired.
This is very exciting to have all this seaweed hung. This is one of our better harvests we've had in a long time. But yeah, ready for dinner and a nice evening? Hell yeah.
Oh my goodness. Quiet down, everybody. First, I just want to say, yes, we hung all the seaweed. Thank you, everybody, for helping harvest the seaweed. And last but not least, to the cooks, thank you. Okay, begin. Yay.
Every day is different. I love the dream of a village. I think it's a wonderful way to live on the planet. And I hope that Ionia can be a little example for other experiments and projects like this all over the planet.
Hold me like you'll never let me go.
And it keeps me, it keeps me sane. It keeps me on the right track. It keeps me nourished. As long as it does that, I have no reason to think about anything else, ever.